In this video, we're going to get some more practice in using trig functions, using our acronym SOHCAHTOA as a guide here, and more practice with the calculator and trig function tables. So if we're given a triangle, a right triangle, and we're told that we have this angle up here, and in radians it's equal to 5 pi over 12. So we're dealing with radians, and the measure of this angle is 5 pi over 12 radians. And we want to know, or let's say we're given this side as 2 times the square root of 2, and we want to know how long is our hypotenuse. Well, here our two choices are to use sine or cosine, because those are the only trig functions that actually use the hypotenuse. The tangent uses the opposite over the adjacent sides relative to the angle. So the opposite side we have, but the adjacent side over here to our angle is also not known, so we don't want to use tangent. But the sine we can use. So the sine of 5 pi over 12 in radians is equal to, well, we know it equals the opposite, which is 2 square root of 2 over the hypotenuse, which I'm going to write as h. If we look up the value of sine 5 pi over 12 on a table, or plug it into a calculator in radians, we should get 1 plus the square root of 3 over 2 times the square root of 2, and this is equal to 2 times the square root of 2 over the hypotenuse. Well, I want to solve for h, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 2 times the square root of 2. That will cancel these out, and over here, 2 times the square root of 2, so I have 1 plus the square root of 3 equals 2 times the square root of 2 times 2 times the square root of 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, and the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is just 2. So it's 4 times 2 over h. 4 times 2 is 8. But I want to multiply both sides by h to move this h out of the denominator. Here I'm going to get, using the distributive property, h times 1 is h plus h times the square root of 3, which is h plus h square root of 3 equals 8. So we want to know, what does h equal? And in fact, I think I made a mistake here by distributing the h. It doesn't allow me to solve for h. I'm not sure what I was thinking there, so let me just go back a step here. Erase this. Fix this right here. If I distributed that h over there, I'm kind of stuck within the problem in a way that I don't want. I want to be able to solve for h. So here, I multiply both sides by h, which I'll do again, but this time I'm not going to distribute the h over here. I have this equation, h times 1 plus the square root of 3 is equal to 8, so I'm going to divide both sides by 1 plus the square root of 3. 1 plus the square root of 3. These cancel out. And now I have h equals this, 8 over 1 plus the square root of 3. Well, I don't want 1 plus the square root of 3 in my problem, so I'm going to multiply both the numerator and denominator by the conjugate, 1 minus the square root of 3. I think you'll see in a moment that'll get my denominator to not have a square root in it anymore, this is called rationalizing the denominator, which we go over in other videos. But anyway, so let's get to that. In the numerator, we have distributive property, 8 times 1 is 8, minus 8 times the square root of 3, which we leave as 8 times the square root of 3. And in the denominator, we have 1 plus the square root of 3 times 1 minus the square root of 3. So we're going to multiply every part. 1 times 1 is 1, minus the square root of 3, 1 times the square root of 3, plus, so here we have square root of 3 times 1, plus the square root of 3, and then square root of 3 times negative square root of 3 is just going to be negative 3. So now we have these two cancel out, and we have h is equal to, I'm running out of room here, but I can squeeze it in, 8 minus 8 times the square root of 3, all of that divided by or over 1 minus 3, which is negative 2. So my answer is 8 over negative 2 minus 8 over the square root of 3 over negative 2. almost done. 8 over this negative 2 is negative 4, minus 8 times the square root of 3 over negative 2. So we're adding here. And 8 times the square root of 3 over 2, well, what do we do with that? Well, this is going to be negative 8 over 2. So basically negative 8 plus 8 times the square root of 3 all over 2. So whatever that is, 8 square root of 3 minus 8 over 2. And I just like writing it this way because it is a positive number. And I'm reminding myself of that because otherwise I'm thinking, well, this hypotenuse is definitely negative, and that doesn't make any sense to me.